Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
And that is me. Well, here it is, Thursday. This week has actually just been flying by. I can tell you that. You know what? As some of my friends out there know that I got injured from a goat. Yeah, a goat. And then I fell numerous times. And I have not... Yeah, go ahead and laugh, James. But you know what?
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Then Ryan can laugh. But I have not been able to walk since June 16th. Now, I was using a walker for a while, and I'll be honest with you, I got lazy because it hurt, and I quit. And then I tried walking again here, a couple weeks ago. I couldn't do it. Today, I've been using the walker all day and getting around. It proves exercising, and what I've been doing a lot in my legs is giving me the strength. But when you tear your tendons in half, they don't grow back. And, I don't want to do the surgery because, one, it's expensive. Two, at my age, I just don't think it would be a fast recovery. And you know what? I don't want to miss talking to all the listeners out there. We're all family. So
yeah, I love to hear you getting better.
Well,
improvements.
Yeah, well, I was actually shocked. Of course, I am, walking like a 90. Well, now some of these 95-year-old people are still riding bicycles and motorcycles. I take it back. I'm walking like a 110-year-old, but at least I'm getting to point A to point B.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and even Shatner is getting around, and he's pushing 90.
Yeah, he still rides a horse, and he rides a motorcycle, he rides a bike, and he's chasing after single women because he's going to be single again. Oh, hey, yeah, he's and you know what? He wants to
Green women.
He wants to come back as Captain Kirk. With the new technology, they can make him look like he's 40 years old or 30 years old again. And he's all for coming back and doing a movie or being on a show doing, being James Kirk. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that was definitely just like they did with the Irishman. I mean, that technology blows you away these days.
Oh, I didn't even know it was good as it was. I remember the Stargate days, and that was really when it started improving. But I was watching this one movie that one of my kids plugged in. I can't even think the name of it. But, the actors had short hair. But this is kind of like medieval time, and all of a sudden they had hair down halfway their back. But they actually didn't. It was all put in. And it was so realistic. I mean, the stuff they can do now it's scary. I want to, you know what? I want, when we start doing Twitch and Facebook Live and YouTube Live, I wish I had a program and make me look 30 years younger and 80 pounds lighter.
You going to get some of them filters? Are you, Gary, like all the women do on Facebook?
Don't you shouldn't have said that. Now I'm going to get a lot of emails from that remark.
They do. I got a lot of friends that do it. They like to do it. It's no biggie.
Well, the big thing was before. Okay, let's be honest with you. People are vain. And when they're like 50, 60 years old, they don't want to put pictures of them up looking 50 or 60. So they put pictures up when they're like in their 30s. Now with some of this software, you can click on Facebook. Here's somebody in their 60s looking like they're in their 40s. And, and then you start, getting a crush on them, or they get a crush on you. And then you find out. You know what you find out. I'm not even going to say. Yeah, you've been lied to.
You've been catfished.
Yep. Happened to me a couple times.
Yeah, it does happen. A friend of mine, guys, back here about 10 years, 15 years ago, he met this beautiful, foxy blonde, gorgeous, at a bar. And they had a few drinks, and she invites him to her apartment, and he's really excited. So she's sitting on the bed, and then she takes her leg off. Okay.
Takes her leg off.
Well, yeah, she had a fake leg.
Okay.
And then she takes one of her arms off. And then she takes her false teeth out and puts them in a jar. And then takes her wig off. And then she uses one of these diaper wipes and wipes the makeup off. And my friend said he ran so fast, I mean, he went through the door. He didn't even bother to open it.
Well, he could have walked. I mean, no.
You know that whole story was not true. It was.
I was going to say.
I mean, she run out of things to take off, didn't she? Except for her clothes.
Well, who at that point would you hang around to find out?
No. I thought you were going to say they called her Q-tip for short. So,
but I did have a friend. Seriously, this is going back 40 years ago. He fell in love with this woman. They got married. She always, I've seen her a couple times in my life back then. Gorgeous lady. But, one day he saw her before she put her makeup on. Because she was so protective on when she, in other words, when she got up, she went to bed with her makeup on, basically, got up and, when he went to work, the whole thing. And he saw her without the makeup on. He goes, you know what? I would never have married her.
Wow.
Kid.
Wow.
Doesn't he know you're supposed to test drive the cars for a while before you just jump in and buy
Well,
one?
we're not going to get into that, but there is a Japanese video that's been circulating around. This girl, or Taiwanese girl, is a master of makeup. And it shows her looking a solid 10. Beautiful. Then, that's part of the video. But then she shows you what she looks like after she takes the makeup off. And it didn't look anything like her. I mean, you would not even notice this person if she's walking down the street. At all. And maybe you would look at her and say, God, she's homely. But she showed how she put her makeup on and step by step and all of a sudden, she was beautiful. Just a heads up, guys. You better watch out before you get married.
I was going to say, the technology these days.
Okay, I'm going to make a note of that.
Well, it's supposed to be the wacky news, so that's not just talking wacky.
Yeah.
But
that is wacky.
Yeah, last night, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that Mr. Norris said, where I didn't kind of agree to it is like where the Nazis, just before the end of the war, they had UFOs and went to, the moon and did all that. I just don't believe the technology was there. They did find, some remains of like a stealth plane they were working on. Towards, when...
Exactly.
But that was, a two-burner. In other words, two-jet engine craft. And like a bat wing, like what our, bomber, whatever it was. And very similar to it, but smaller and scaled down. That thing would have had a altitude of like 40,000 feet and about 635 miles an hour, which, it would have blown everything away. But they really only built one of them, which, they had a couple flights on it and then it crashed. But, we got that technology. But if they're at that point, if they would have had UFOs, with lasers and all this stuff, we would have never won the war. They would have used it. I just, that part, I don't believe that they were so far advanced that they had the technology to take, UFOs and go to the moon and back.
Yeah.
Well,
then you start getting into the Arctic with Admiral Byrd and stuff like that. Oh, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
I was going to say another problem with the Nazi theory is if they're still there and often have bases on there, however long they had them, that takes financing. It takes return trips for supplies. And where's their headquarters here on Earth that they're continually going back and forth to the moon? And wouldn't we have seen that through telescopes somewhere down the line and on and on?
Well, that Admiral Berg thing has been debunked so many times. And again, yes, they went there, but the story that it circulates on the web is not the real thing. and it's make-believe. But again, yes, Germany had in Antarctica a weather station. I think they had 3 or 5, military guys there, which were rescued after the war because Germany couldn't even, retrieve them. So we retrieved them. But that's what they had. They had a weather station. Now, even at that time, Germany didn't have, with their submarines, they had a certain range and certain capabilities, and that would have really been pushing even their technology, to bring a submarine, on a regular basis, to bring enough material to build a huge complex.
Yeah, and now I have did some research on U-boats and their technology as far as when their operation to the pipeline to send Germans to Argentina and other South American countries. And those U-boats would have had to make at least one stop or a few up on the way. Now they did, toward the end of the war, come out with these 3 super submarines that were incredible. But I believe
they
2 of them
only
were sunk and one disappeared.
Yeah, one actually kind of went out. One of them never got completed, and one was sunk out right by where it was. Or actually, what do you call it? The bunker it was at, it got destroyed.
Berlin?
No, not Berlin. Whatever it is off their sea coast.
Oh, okay, I got you.
No, actually, they were so good they navigated their submarines through the sewers to Berlin.
That is good. That's getting it done right there.
Yeah, full of shit.
Oh.
Anyway, that's another $75 fine. Okay, let me write that down on my list. Yeah, I told the FCC I wouldn't, because we're on radio stations, I wouldn't say certain words, but shit isn't that bad. I just can't use the F word.
Well, I mean, if
flounders.
Jeez. Stacking them up now, Gary.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you got a shovel. But yeah, again, so some of the stuff that we were discussing last night, I almost kind of, everybody has their own right for their own views.
Exactly.
And if you listen to any of these ufologists, including myself and James especially, everybody has their own point of view. So I only go by what I've heard since 76. I only go by what I've been reading since 76. And I look at certain things and I go, okay, that does make sense. I don't think something 20,000 miles long or 10,000 miles long or 1,000 mile long UFO makes sense to me. It don't. Here's the thing. UFOs didn't get really talked about to the early 80s when I was doing talk radio. And back then, nobody ever said, I saw a UFO the size of Walmart. Of course, Walmart wasn't there. It would have been, who knows. But they were always reporting them. They were about maybe 50 feet in diameter. Or maybe the huge one would be 100 feet in diameter. Yeah, it was a round disc like a hubcaps. No, it was a cigar. I never heard anything like what they're shaped now and stuff like that. So again, how can you imagine something the size of a super Walmart coming uncloaked, and you're looking at it at maybe a couple thousand feet off the ground? How could something like that even fly?
That's what I mean. Something like that. I'd faint seeing something like that. And you're right, too, Gary. I listened to old Long John Neville radio broadcasts, and not once do you hear something like that being mentioned.
No. But, again, I hate to say it. I get so many pictures every single day. I got a bunch today. I haven't even opened up and looked. A guy sent me a zip file of UFOs. But I'm telling you, 99.9% of them, I look at them and I go, I can do better in Photoshop.